function in Python.
Introduced by Mohammed Mostafa.
Okay, let's start. Are you here?
Yep, I'm here. بس أحاول إنه أسوي login.
Okay.
Python anywhere.
Yes. راح نستخدم جوجل كولاب.
Google. Okay. Let me try to access from there.
I will make sharing. Access Google Colab. First go to Google, then Google Colab. Click to welcome to Colab. But you must do sign in or log in for your account with Google. Okay, then click to new notebook. As you see, notebook. It's going to open the page for writing a code in Python by cells here. Press 2. I will press to connect this website with server belong to Google and next. And to write more code, I press here to code or here. Yeah, I can print any coding. It's work.
Recording in progress.
Are you on the same page?
Yeah.
Same page you are now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about functions. Functions is a basic building block for any organized and structured coding. Did you hear before about functions?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Functions is a block of code used for a specific purpose or specific needs. I can define the function inside Python by using keyword if. Okay, then write the name of the function, like get max salary or get max of 2 as an example, or max amount, any name. Then make 2 brackets. Inside these brackets, I will insert a name as a placeholder for an input from outside the function. The name will be prices. This is a placeholder, just a placeholder. When I call the function, I use this name.
Okay.
For going to that,
And in general, functions, we use it in order to search or drill down for specific tasks.
yes.
وكمان it helps it to know data to look better instead of
Yes.
writing repetitive. Okay.
Yes, so function is used to make repetitive tasks. Let me share with you. I have a PowerPoint for functions. We can illustrate it from it a little bit, then return to coding. Very well. A function is a section of the code can be reused by calling it by name. It allow you to manipulate repeated tasks. We know that function is used to make repeated tasks. Find malicious attacks based on attempts failed. يعني I can find many attempts, how many attempts a user try to log into a website by a function, because this task is repetitive. Any user log into a website make this more time in a day or in a week. So this is a repetitive task. How I can define a function? I can define a function by the keyword def, and then the name of the function after 2 parentheses. I define 2 vertical dot. Then write the body of the function. Def function and the name of the function is called the header of the functions, and the statements or the code inside the functions called the body of the function. The body of the functions used to achieve the purpose of the function by making processing, intermediate processing to reach the final goal of the function.
So the body, is it the same as the parameters that are in between the 2 brackets?
Yes, I can insert the parameter inside the bracket of the function.
Okay.
Calling the function, I can call the function by its name. If I use the function name inside the same function, it will repeat it to infinite, unless if I define a logic stopping to call this function. As an example, if I define max and input a specific number or different numbers inside a list, and I want to find the maximum number for this function, I have many statements to achieve that by if condition and alignment or assignment like x equal 3. Inside x is called assignment is 3 to x. I have different coding. Then after that, write the max function again. This function will repeat forever, infinite loop, unless.
But they haven't defined it.
Because I already defined it or calling it inside the function of the definition. I define max and use it inside the function.
Okay.
Until a specific logic stopping condition achieved, stop the function. If the maximum equal a specific number, it will stop. This is an example. We can skip this example because it's not belong to data analysis. Okay. Are you trying to focus for detail for this coding?
I was trying to what it will print out, but
I don't
no,
think you
it's
can
better if you,
investigate.
yeah, it's better if you just
Okay,
practice
take
it.
your time.
No, it's okay.
I define
Let's
a
go to the next.
parameter in functions. When we need outside data input to the function, I can use a parameter inside the header. There are multiple built-in functions we already used that takes parameter, like range function, if you remember it. Range function is used to get a sequence of numbers starting from specific number and ending with stopping number. This range function and other functions like length take input and return the length of this input. Text Muhammad, you get the length of number of character of this name. And the print function take input, and the type function we will use it to find the type of the variable like x, type integer, type float, and so on. We use the parameter inside the parentheses. When we calling the function again, we must input the parameter we defined it inside the structure of the function. If I define variable here, like a name, when I calling the function by its name, I must define the data. Exactly. Return statement is very important to return the goal of the body of the function or the goal of writing the function. What is the benefit of return? The benefit of return is I can use the returned value from the function many times by storing it inside a variable. As we took already, two functions make the same task, but a little different. It's called remove and pop. Remove is used to remove the element from the function, the list or structure, and pop also used to remove element from the structure.
Use to save it as well, right? You can retrieve it back when we use the pop.
Yes, pop return an element, but
Yeah.
remove doesn't return an element.
Yes.
Why? Because the structure of remove function doesn't have return statement. Bob have
The
return.
pop has a return.
So I can store it inside variable. If you remember Bob function. Good.
And pop
Very
is
good.
store a variable in it.
Okay, very good. A variable inside the function is a local variable. This is very important to note. When I define any variable or any data structure inside the function, it will be local for this function. But if I need to use this variable outside of the function, I can use it by a previous keyword called global before the variable. If I want x be global variable, I can use it outside the function. I can write global. Okay. This will be benefit if I need to use this variable inside another function or other functions. Okay. This is an example of return, like remaining login attempts, maximum attempts, maybe 5, and the total attempts is 3. So maximum minus total equal to in this case. Okay. This is calling the function by its name, and we have return, so we can store it inside a variable and make if condition. If remaining attempt is less than or equal to 0, your count is locked. In this case, your account will be locked. Why? Because 3 minus 3 equal to 0, and the remaining attempts will be 0. If we need to print another statement, if remaining attempts not equal 0, we can use else and print statement and print remaining attempts.
Okay. It's a bit confusing, but you can, once I start using it, it will make more sense.
You want to use it?
No, we're practicing.
You practice now. Did you finish? Finish?
I took a screenshot of it. I'll practice later because my laptop is refusing to let me sign in with Google. So I'll
Sure.
try it later.
Why?
It's my work laptop. They have a lot of securities in it.
Mm.
So I'm traveling. And then I only traveled with my work laptop. So I'll find another one later. So I took a screenshot and I saved this, and then later on I'll rewatch the session.
Okay, very good. Let's go to practice. Ms. Aisha, just 1 minute and I will return. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. Take your time.
Did we took while loop?
Which loop?
While loop.
Why no?
Okay. Let's practice while directly. While loop is like for loop. But the difference is while loop continue print or execute the statement or the body of the while loop unless the specific condition is false. As an example, I will define variable called count with 0 and if and use while loop if while count lesser than 0, so lesser than 5, I will print count. After that, I will increase count by 1. So the first time we'll print 0, then count plus 1 will be 1, 1 lesser than 5, print 1 until 4 lesser than 5, print 4, then 5 lesser than 5, no.
It should stop.
It will stop. We can use while loop. I remember we already take a task. So did you remember the final task we stopped?
It was something else. It wasn't the while loop. It's just I don't have my.
Yes, it was for loop, but it was
Yeah, for.
a little bit difficult if you remember it. I give you this task
I
to
remember,
finish.
but this one, no, you didn't give me any task.
No, I give you this task to finish because it was a little bit difficult.
Ah, yes, 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 yes. You did.
Yes, this task.
Yes, I remember that you did. You gave me this one. You told me you go finish this one. I remember.
Did you
Yeah.
try this result?
No.
Why?
I used to try but هالمرة I didn't try ولا شيء.
Very
بس
difficult.
سافرت وخذيت هذا معي.
Sure.
سافرت وخذيت اللابتوب هذا معي ما خذيت الثاني ونسيت كمان إني أرسل الفايل حق نفسي فالسالفة كلها كانت ملخبطة.
Okay.
Mm.
While loop here. We can use while loop. Did you remember in this code when we try to input a score greater than 100 and lesser than 0? It's print score invalid. Try again. But it is go outside or log out from the coding. I need to try again while it's invalid score. How I can make that? I can use while.
Yeah.
Or while the score greater than 100 or the score lesser than 0, I will use this code inside while again. And instead of write enter score, I will write here invalid score, valid score, try again. The benefit of while loop here, it will print this message until I enter a number outside of this range. Lesser than 100 and greater than 0. Now I can make that input a score. I will use if here, and I can run now 20 because the 20 input outside all ranges, so it will go to else statement. And I will try again to enter.
You got the.
Yes. I will enter minus 50. Invalid score, try again. So, it's here up the file. Okay, and he said invalid score, try. Did you see it?
Yes, invalid score, try again.
Yes, I will write valid score 100 invalid score. Why? Because I use
you said less than or equal.
Yes, I will remove it.
This is very useful. Very useful when you're working on big files.
Yes, because if the score invalid score, it will give him permissions to try again and enter a valid score. 100 failed. Right, it's failed. Again, 100.
You got an A.
Run again. Maybe minus 50 or minus 55.
You'll say invalid, right? Because it's less than 0.
Try. 120 again. 300 again. Invalid score. 85 or 99. You got it. Very well. So we finish from while loop. While loop will continue. Did you notice this code only belong to while loop? And this code isolated from while loop. While first I run the code, I get this first code score. And it is a score with while loop. While in the score greater than 100 or a score lesser than 0, I will use this code again and print a message in valid score, try again. Until the condition will be false, go out from while loop and go the next coding is if and else if and so on. Okay, we finished from while loop. Let's go to functions again. A simple function define hello and print hello, or get the input from the user by using input, and input, if you remember, return string, and store the returned value inside name variable and print hello and the name variable. These are simple functions. Now we're going to talk about a global variable and the local variable. We defined A outside of the function, so A is a global variable. If we use A inside the function, it will print 1.
What the variable was, which is 1.
Because the 1 is
Defined.
inside A global, okay? But if we have defined A here again and print A, it will print 2, not 1, because A is a local and reassign or update A with 2.
Okay.
Okay, it will print a global variable. If I define a function called h, and inside h define a global variable called a, and assign 3 to this variable, print h, it will print a. If I print global a, it will be 3. A here, I get it from the function by use the function name, but a here I get it because A is a global inside the function. It will be 3 without using the function itself to get the variable inside it. Okay. If I isolated G and F is defined above. I'm thinking about trying this function. First, I will take the output directly. Print if 1. Where is A? Here will be defined A equal 1. What sides it's a global. This if is text, not a function. Because I doubt about using the same function inside the definition of the function, it will be infinite loop, as we mentioned before. But I notice that if here is a string, not a function. If I use the if here as a function, it will be repeated. Did you see? But I don't want to try this. I will print now and use call the function by its name. It will print 1, okay, the value of A. If I define another function and reallocate the variable A with 2 and call this function again by G, it will print the value 2, not 1. Okay, because I updated it. Yes. The global, I will write it, define this function have a global A equal global A and A equal 3. This is the last update for A, 2 and 3. If I print A, did you think it will be 1, the global outside, or A, 3? 1 or 3?
I updated it, let's see.
Yes. No.
Because it's a global outside.
Yes. The global outside have a priority. Then a global inside. Yes, A is 1. Print here, print it, and use a function, it will print 3. Okay, print 3. I have a code for making processing for global. I use it for different group. I would define a function called add value, and this function take input number and define a list as a global and initialize the list with empty values and make for loop for each element inside the list and append. I added 1 to each value inside the list and return the list. This is the first code, this is structure. And the second code is define a variable called get value and use the same function and define a list with 1, 2, 3. We can update this code with number equal. This will return 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, but now a new list is a global. So I will define another function called get power and use the same global list inside another function. This is the benefit of global. I can use the global variable returned from a function inside another function. So the updated value will be input to another function called get power and make for loop for each element inside this, not a new list, because this will be a list. And make for loop for each value inside this get value and make power for it by making for loop and add value 1 and power I by 2. But now I don't need use global. I use local variable not inside the function. Okay, I will return this again. It's the same result, I think, because the returned value from the new list will be 2 and 3 and 4. After appending 1 for each element, inside number list, it will this value, and this value will be the updated value for a new list. So I can use the new list here again to use the keyword of global, or achieve the concept of a global inside another function, because the new list is a global function. Okay, I will make run. Okay, and then get power function, and the input will be the stored value, which is called the get value, and run it will be the power of which element inside this. It's clear. Very good. Okay, let's go another concepts inside function. Return multiple elements. If I define many variables inside multiple values inside a function called items, I can return all items, or I can return many operations. If I have input, maybe function used to get circumference and area of a triangle, and return the final value for the no, I can circle, use circumference and the area. How we can do that? Do you have any idea?
You want to return them
Return circumference محيط
of a circle. So we
Okay.
have, well, not divide that to two. It's supposed to have 360 angles, right? If you check in the middle. So when we divide it to
Yes,
two,
your memory is correct, but we don't need that. We need the area of the circle, which is
how to calculate
R.
the area of circle?
Yes, by R square, if you remember. And the circumference will be by D is the diameter and pi is 3.14. Do you have any idea to do that?
Yes, check.
No.
Let's check.
Okay.
So what we can do is, because area was pi r square, صح?
Yes, صح.
So what we can do is,
If get area and there.
it already has saved global, right?
No,
Global
we
value. Or we have to define it. Okay, we can define it as get
input
area.
parameter. Input will be the diameter.
Okay.
Circumference. Diameter. Yes. And
D, which
define
is this, right?
radius. No, it will be diameter. Radius is half of the diameter. Will be we will divide by 2. Or
then
can
we
define
can-
radius, okay, no problem.
Okay.
And okay. Area
And
equal by 3.14. You can define by here 3.14 by R
that's to add.
square.
For example, in Excel,
After that,
نقول import math وبعدين استخدم math.
math dot by is R of power 2. This is the area. Will be math dot by 2 times R will be diameter. And the final return not area, and get calling the function get circumference R equal 3. Okay, and store the result inside two variable called area. Then print the area of the circle have a radius of, I can find the radius here outside the function. Yes, because I need to use it inside the print. Yes, equal 3. And here is radius. To make the function generic for any radius here, I can make it more sophisticated by input the radius from the user to be flexible to enter any number. Enter the radius or enter a radius and convert it into integer, because this function always return string. So the area of the circle has the radius of is area clearance is. If I want to make the code more readable, I can write what? Comment this function is used to give area and circle. So any user or any programmer can understand the purpose of using this function. And I will run here and run here.
Okay.
Input radius 3 or 2. Radius 2.
The radius is 2.
Wow, it's a big number. Do you have any idea to minimize this number?
There has to be a function called round.
Wow, very well. Clever student.
Just say
Round to two numbers. Okay, will be better. And what? Radius round? No, I need area round.
Yes, area round.
Yes. And so I close the bracket and so on. Where is circumference? Two, I close. Run. Three. Area radius 3. Area of a circle have radius of 3 is 28.27 and circumference is 18.85. It's good. Very good. Okay. Stop today and continue tomorrow. We already finished the basic building blocks for Python. From the next lecture, we're going to advance it library in data analysis to make analysis for data. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
إن شاء الله دكتور. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
Thanks for watching.